or above. And, what we're hearing is the ARPU on offers in general is around $2 to $3. You can filter, and you choose the best offers, the ones that are above $10, and you're left with a fewer, a smaller set of offers to be able to present to these customers, but still a component value proposition.
What about social gold in terms of if someone wanted to use something for larger price points or things like this? Do you think it would work for an app like this?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the things we do is we do custom pricing just so that people can do high price points or lower price points. But I think the market that we typically work with developers do much lower price points with this. And like I mentioned earlier, so I think the user who gets to start playing in games typically want lower price points. But when looking at an application like Causes, you could do, so social good could very effectively used to do credit cards and do price point that's effective for $10 payments.
Well, I'm going to stay on you for a second, because the other thing, when I ask the guys, what are people doing wrong? Over and over again, I kept hearing from them, we have to stay in game. And so you used the example of Animal Paradise. Can you chat a little bit about what you see going on here?
Yeah, so Animal Paradise, this is a flash game. And the typical experience with most flash games is that if a user leaves a game, makes a payment, comes back, flash game tends to get reloaded, and the user is in a different state than what he was before. So those kind of experiences that break the in-app experience that the user has, he's enjoying the game, he's in the middle of making a transaction, then all of a sudden the game breaks and he's away somewhere making the payment. That's a kind of experience that you don't want users to have. You want to bring the payments experience as much within the game, within the application as much as possible. And that's where I think games like Animal Paradise or other games that tend to make that can monetize a lot more effectively, can keep the users engaged a lot more, and drive a bigger output from users if they were bringing that application, the payments experience much more within the application.
And these were two that people gave as examples where it was going well. One of those is yours with Barn Buddy, and then the other one was Zom. In paintball, I was curious, is pausing the game, that seems like a great idea. Why wouldn't you? And also keeping things on the same page. Why not do why is it done with everything?
Well, I think in the case of the paintball people, what they did is really brilliant, because you don't even have to go to an offer page, or you just basically pause the game and you actually hide in a helicopter or something, and you want to buy a new weapon or a bulletproof vest. And so you just click on the button and you type in your 10-digit cell phone number and you're done, and you get your bulletproof vest and get back in the game and continue shooting your adversaries. So it's really straightforward, and it works. I mean, the conversion is really great there.
Do you have any numbers in terms of talking about the difference in the conversions?
It's hard to say. I mean, our conversion across the board, because we measure it from the moment somebody clicks on our payment button, is close to 70%. In other words, out of 10 people that you send to our payment button, 7 will complete a successful transaction, which is unheard of in the payments industry before we launched. That's one
They're
point.
salivating. They want to say things after that.
So mobile is a fantastic solution for payments. We see as high as 85% in some countries, and it varies. Once you get to the
I see 90%.
In countries like France, you get up to 90% actually, because the flow is different. It's true, the flow is different.
Jamaica, however, is 92%.
That's because they don't realize what they're doing.
But realistically, so that takes us back then. So you don't have, does anyone have a measurement or any kind of idea that you can give our developers a real idea of, this kind of in-game experience is more effective, and here's a good number to prove to you that it is, besides just intuitively?
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I was listening to my own joke. What was it?
Apparently, they all just need you all need too
What happened to the
much,
shots
you
that
can
you were
track
talking
the
about,
differences. They need the differences in the I was talking about the effectiveness of staying in-app versus bouncing someone out. Does anyone have any conversion data on how they can improve a conversion rate based on that?
So we have some data. I think some of the applications that we work with, where the user stays within a game, within that page, and never leaves that, tends to see on a credit card 20 to 50% lift on the revenue they generate from the same channel. And this is again focused keeping the user on the game, keeping the user engaged. And the other thing that we also see with the games is not just that the revenue numbers go up, they actually keep the user more engaged. Their engagement levels go up. Even if the users don't pay for, they bring up the pop-up to see what they have to do, but they close it, they've never left the game. They haven't gone away from your game, and that's one thing that developers love as well.
I just want to comment on the integration of Jumble and Barn Buddies because that was my thing. So I just took that example because first of all, as you know, removing friction is, as I said before, our religion. We really like Jumble's flow because, as you can see here, you only have to type your credit card number and your expiration, so it's minimal investment in time. And only then, when you click next, you have to type your billing address and everything else. So the conversion that Jumble is getting from traditional payment processors is much higher. A, because their iframe is in the game, so you don't have to leave the game and go through a pop-up and landing page like you would even on PayPal. You stay within the game. You complete the few steps. You can save your credit card, so next time you come in, you don't even have to type your credit card number again. So it's really efficient. It's really, really efficient. And before I finish on this, I just want to make a note because we were talking earlier on, and I didn't have a chance to comment on that, on causes and price points. As far as mobile is concerned, I agree with Ron. I think the problem with charities is that the cost of the transaction on mobile is too expensive. On price points, though, we have a different view on things. I think we're absolutely focused on conversion. And if you have higher price points, introducing higher price points with mobile sometimes breaks the flow. So for instance, in the US, if you want to enable a price point at $20 on mobile, then only AT&T subscribers will be able to complete a transaction. And 80% of your users are going to break at that price point. So they won't be able to complete a transaction. So we're of the opinion that since you're using mobile payments for conversion, then you shouldn't break the flow at any point in time. But that's more a question of opinion.
So just to hit on that point really quickly, our price points are higher globally and usually universal. But in the case of the U.S., some carriers have higher price points than others. And what we've enabled in our API is the ability for customers, merchants, and publishers to choose what they want to offer. And we've actually seen with merchants when they choose to optimize around price points. Personally, I would prefer that everyone chose homogeneous price points and have looked at the data. A 20 to 30% lift occurs even though you're only offering sort of 40 or 50% of your customers' ability to get to the $30 price point, for example, because only I'd say that sort of 30 to 40% of people offer, including U.S. Cellular, Warren, AT&T, etc.
I am going to play this back and add up all the percentages lift that the two of you have talked about and see how high over I get after. So let's talk about the right mix for your audience, because I think the other thing we all know is that different types of users prefer different types of payments. So what works for who? Let's start with women over 35. The demographic soon to be close to my heart.
Offers.
Credit cards.
Pardon me?
It says credit cards. I think we've seen very high conversion of credit cards in that demographic.
What about you guys?
We offer a whole spectrum of solution. I think that credit cards and PayPal will always be a big portion of anyone with over the age of 18. Mobile and gift cards trends younger, offers trends older. The more the older you are, the more likely you have the credit card, and some of those offers require credit cards. So that's a big category. Women over 35 is a big category for us as well.
So but let's say I got a game, women over 35. I just don't have time. I know what I do. Just one or two payment methods. How do I weigh the balance between these high conversion rates, but there's the high fees, or whether someone who's got more people are used to credit cards? How do you make the decision?
Another differentiator for us is that we actually enable people to pass on the fees, and that means you can stay sort of margin neutral. And about half of our publishers choose to pass on the fees, so that while you're checking out, if you see the mobile has a 35-40% fee, it's like an Amazon checkout when you're buying a book. It says this is what the cost is for the book, and here's the cost to ship the book to you. And you realize that actually in the case of this game, the ship the book to you is actually the carrier that you are on, AT&T, Verizon, etc., are charging you 30%, and making it clear that it's actually not the publisher that's charging that fee.
Let me try this a different way. I'm going to go down the line. You're allowed to target one segment, one gender, one 10-year age range, and your business is based on it. I want to know, for your business, who would you pick?
Well, I think, whatever you do,